Hey, folks, welcome back. This is Chris in central Pennsylvania. There's been an awful big blitz about Donald Trump and how he's pressuring South Africa and trying to interfere with internal affairs. And the reality, as I've said over and over again, is that President Trump simply suspended or ended financial assistance, foreign aid to South Africa, based on a long list of grievances that the African National Congress has done against the interests of the United States, including working with Iran's nuclear program, according to the U.S. government. But the rest of these things we've all seen in plain sight. The executive order that has got them in such a tizzy also said that the government ignores the rights of part of its population. Yeah, it's true. It's also got a lot of other problems. But the point here is that look at all the effort to dispute what Donald Trump has to say, calling him a liar, telling me he's misrepresenting the government, saying the media especially. You got to wonder about what's going on in the South African media. It's a hard press, such a hard press to tell a narrative that's contrary to the reality on the ground. And why is that? Well, here's the thing. If Donald Trump simply issued an executive order that only affects the internal affairs of the United States, that's right, these are internal affairs. Whether we give foreign aid assistance to a foreign country is an internal affair for us. And frankly, the United States doesn't have the money. As I said, in last year's fiscal year budget, the Biden administration spent $2 trillion, not million, not billion, $1 trillion more than it took in. That's deficit spending. That means that the government had to borrow $2 trillion and suck it out of our economy, depressing economic growth, money not available for businesses to expand, for people to buy homes, driving up interest rates, making things more expensive and more dear. And on top of that, they buried us in debt, which our grandchildren, if we're still alive, if they're still around, will have to pay off with interest. Why in the world should we give South Africa $500 million that we'll be paying off for the next 30 years that they're going to squander this year or use this year when the government in South Africa is not taking care of that need itself? How is that our responsibility? That's an internal affair for us. That's the first thing. The second thing is that the decision to extend or open the refugee resettlement program to people in South Africa is an internal decision for the United States. Now, South Africa may not like it. It may offend their sensibilities, but it's not affecting them. It's affecting the United States. We're the ones that have to pay for it. We're the ones that have to bring people here. We're the ones that have to resettle them, absorb them into our community and our society, not South Africa. So the ANC can take umbrage, but we've arrived at this juncture because of their actions. They're the ones who did it, not Donald Trump. It's the ANC. They're fully responsible for this. So imagine this, ladies and gentlemen. The newspapers are constantly saying Donald Trump is taking punitive action against South Africa. He's threatening South Africa. He's intruding affairs. Imagine if he actually did that. Look at all the people who are freaking out, all the people who are inquiring about refugee status, all the media trying to go out of the way to rubbish how great America is and say bad things about America, and all the nonsense to stand up and puff the chest and the EFF and MK and well, less so MK, but ANC and other parties talking about, pride in South Africa. Where was that pride in South Africa before February 7th when Trump issued the executive order? It was nowhere to be found. And this doesn't come from a place of dislike or animosity towards South Africa. Those who know me know I have great affinity for South Africa. But it wasn't there, other than in a Springboks game. And now suddenly you're all proud to be South Africans with the streets falling apart, the ports out of service, the rails ripped up, electricity, a luxury that people never get, it seems. And suddenly it's all pride. South Africa's great. Well, South Africa is great, but its political parties aren't, and its governance is atrocious. And unfortunately, it affects all South Africans, black, white, and brown. And that's reality. So again, think about this. Imagine if and when Donald Trump actually takes punitive action against South Africa, which given the way the ANC and politicians in South Africa keep acting, it may very well be happening soon. You keep insulting the people that give you money, that give you preferential access to the market, and don't even expect reciprocity. And do you think they're stupid? They're just going to keep giving you that? I'd suggest you knock it off, politicians in South Africa, and the media especially. But when Trump takes real action, real punitive action against South Africa, something like, I don't know, removing you from the African Growth and Opportunity Act, which, by the way, South Africa, by its own actions, has made itself ineligible for. You've abrogated private property rights. Nil compensation is not just and fair. That's not. So you've abrogated those property rights, not us. You're not eligible for a go. You should have been removed by it a long time ago. And if he actually takes punitive action with sanctions, oh my goodness, then they'll really lose their minds. You don't want that, South Africa. Tell your politicians to stop acting like fools. Trump isn't asking for anything. He isn't demanding anything. Stop lying about it, or he will ask and demand things. Just ask Colombia, Canada, Denmark, Panama, Mexico, China. They got the message, and so did the UK. Cheers, everybody. Have a good night and take care of yourselves. Be safe out there.